more importantly. Okay, so I don't know if everyone heard what we said, but I believe everyone received the email this week that we were going to talk about the competitive analysis today, and we really wanted to think about that in two fold. So the first would be how to look at the competitors that are complementary to you. So, other wellness vendors that you can collaborate with as you're building out your employer wellness programs, and then also who you might compete with directly. So other vendors that may offer services that are very similar to yours, to where an employer would not work with both of you concurrently. So to kick off, we wanted to start with this article that I found on Employee Benefit News that discussed the 20 characteristics of successful worksite wellness programs. And we thought that this would speak to the breadth of employer wellness initiatives and how you can really fit your services into their programs, and how to understand what the key elements that they're looking for are, and how they're really evaluating the success of their programs. So Winston, anything else to add?
No, just go through the list and let's talk about it and break it down to folks.
Nice. Okay, so I'm just reading off of my laptop here. So the first principle was that health is a core business value, and they say companies with successful wellness programs embrace health as a core business value. Companies that are truly committed to comprehensive health and productivity programs will even have the health and well-being of employees as part of their mission statement. And I think that really resonated because you want a culture at your clients where leadership and just the general culture supports wellness. So I've worked for corporations before where it was there was pressure to maybe take a shorter lunch, or not take time out to go for a walk or do stretching. And then I've worked at employers where it was the opposite, where they were very supportive. So I think that first one is just a fundamental way to kick off that health should be a core business value and supported by your corporation.
But what's interesting is because due to reform and guaranteed issuance, now employers are like, well, we need to do everything we can to better manage medical costs. And so now they're like, well, let's incorporate wellness, because wellness is going to help them to curb some of the costs and related cost trend for those folks who are, the sickest of the sick amongst their population,
Yeah, nice. So the second one, which aligns very much so with the first one, was that leadership involvement, and that company leadership sets an example of good health. And again, that just speaks to what the first principle was saying, and that is that the executive leadership team definitely supports the employees' wellness efforts and initiatives. So moving on, so the third one was grassroots wellness champion. So it could be someone working on the line, clerical, middle manager, people in the organization who have an interest in wellness and who can act in a leadership position for the rest of the organization. So again, having someone internally champion the wellness efforts. Winston, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so if you know someone who's part of your yoga class who may have, ends to a specific employer group, having those types of champions is what really helps. For example, we worked with someone who had access to our Life Mastery program, and she actually approached her company saying, well, let's identify some new ways in which we can get people to adopt a healthier, happier lifestyle. And so she actually approached that company with our Life Mastery program. So this was someone that, became a champion for us. And so if you can identify someone within your yoga class, or someone at church who has some ends to a specific corporation, who could be sort of your the person that can really endorse you, that's going to help.
Yeah. And then moving on to number 4, so employees are proactively encouraged to access resources to live healthy lifestyles. And this is where I think well.org has very robust resources that you'll be able to utilize to bring to your employer wellness programs. And what they're saying is that the company, through incentives or culture, is such that people can participate in wellness activities on company time, and there's lots of things being provided to help employees engage in a healthy lifestyle.
Right. And the thing is, be creative. Don't focus on all the written stuff because that's boring and prescriptive. Try to focus on audio, visual, where people, are actually participating or seeing an experience. And so try to think outside the box in regards to how to get people to adopt some of your programs.
Number 5, so workplace environment. Workplace wellness initiatives are enhanced by physical environment that makes it easy, convenient, and acceptable to engage in healthy behavior. It's the environment set up. Is the environment set up so wellness is the default option in the organization? Things like vending machines and how healthy the snacks are at the company cafeteria and whether they have a heart-healthy line. So again, I think these all really build off of one another. So it's, really, if you kind of reduce it down to fundamentals, it's really building the culture and the overall tonality. So number 6, so program is branded. And I think this is really important. So whether it's the name of the program, the tagline, or the colors, any association that helps employees know the program exists. So again, this goes into the marketing and communication efforts. And it's really great when you can play a consultative role with your clients or your employer clients to help them develop their communication strategy to really enhance engagement and participation and retain it, really, once employees have enrolled.
Right. And see, the problem with a lot of corporate wellness is that people don't know that they've actually are participating in corporate wellness. And so if you go to the wellness tools of the Academy, we actually have a webinar which you could be able to share with your customers. But it really gets into how you could potentially do a webinar where you could kick off a health and wellness week to get people remotivated and wanting to actually participate in the wellness program versus them not even knowing about it unless a case manager or someone from the health insurance company happens to randomly call them up and say, hey, why don't you participate in this wellness because of A, B, and C. So again, be creative. Use tools such as our webinars as a way to get people to want to participate.
So, and I really like this next one, which is the 7th principle, and it's multiple components, and it says that companies that see the greatest return on investment for their worksite wellness interventions are those that provide a full array of activities rather than just an annual health fair. And I think this goes back to a couple webinars ago when someone had asked how they should approach employers that already have a wellness program in place. And I don't think that should be intimidating exactly to this point because there's several different ways to structure wellness programs, and any way that you can figure out how to complement an existing program, or if you're brought in to establish an existing program, that's great too. But I really do think that it can be multifaceted and really designed in a way that incorporates many different components.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree.
Nice. So moving on, so the 8th is communication materials. So in addition to an array of activities, successful wellness programs are communicated using multiple communication methods, including emails, newsletters, calendars, posters, brochures, and social media. And again, I think that's important, and that's another consultative way that you can help or come into an employer and bring them those communication and marketing collateral to help bring awareness to the program, foster that culture of wellness, and again, awareness, and to hopefully increase enrollment.
And if you go to Module 6, we have more information about that, because in Module 6, we actually address some of the reasons why people may not want to participate in a corporate wellness program. For example, they may be afraid that some of their health data may be actually shared with their employer. which may cause them to be potentially singled out. But that's not necessarily true. But go through, look at the material, because it helps to get in the mind of someone who may want to participate but may have some inhibitions regarding why not to participate.
Yep. So moving on, so number 9, maximize member participation. So publicize the program frequently to engage employees and achieve what Powell calls the saturation effect. Ongoing publicity using a variety of communication methods will help get the wellness message out. So again, another way to say and build on the fact that it's really important to have a solid communication strategy and really enhance and encourage enrollment and participation. So number 10, assessment activities. So employers need to ask themselves what their goals are with biometric screenings and personal health assessments. It is to find out who's diabetic, who smokes, who's overweight, or is it a motivational tool to get people involved in wellness? He cautions employers against using HRA to assess what programs to offer. Where the HRA is helpful is when people who fill it out get a wellness score, and maybe that score helps motivate them to make lifestyle changes. So I know, Winston, you had talked a lot about...
Yeah, I want to clarify that, because they're talking about specifically health risk appraisals where you complete the study and then the study gives you some type of rating. But we have an enriched health risk appraisal where it just doesn't end with an evaluation or a rating, but actually gets into, okay, here's the things that you can do to be able to actually improve your health status and to be able to circumvent a potential disease state down the line. And so we actually use the standard HRA as a beginning point to begin to create this continuum of wellness care to be able to motivate people to adopt, again, a healthier lifestyle by incorporating nutrition and exercise and sleep and stress management, etc. So I agree with that point, but what we've done is we actually have a tool that goes way beyond the standard health risk appraisal.
Nice. Number 11 is lifestyle programs, which includes health coaching, self-help programs, and small group programs. And so, again, I think this speaks to the ways in which you can bring your value and services into an employer wellness setting by looking at one-on-one coaching. Are you going to do the lunch and learns or some sort of group setting, and just, again, thinking about it in the context of a lifestyle program where employees can be walked through a set or series or weeks of coaching.
So guys, I want to take a little pause here. So does anyone have any questions or any comments? Is any of this resonating? Is it making sense, not making sense, sort of making sense? Let us know, because again, we're here to exchange ideas and information. So I want to make sure that this is all helpful. I'm assuming it is. I haven't really seen anything pop up, but give us your questions. Sorry, Chris, I just wanted to jump in and see.
No, that's great. That's good. And will the questions be coming to me just so I know if I should be?
Yeah, they should be popping up in your chat, public chat. So
great.
We'll be looking for
them. So I don't see any so far. Number 12 is provide health coaching. So health coaching can be telephonic, electronic via email, or one-on-one, or in small groups. So I think that actually brings up a good point to think about how you might want to structure it. And so when you're getting asked, I know that Jane had a question on how many clients can you serve at once, and which is really getting to how scalable are your services and program. And I think that this was a good way to show that you can leverage technology to be able to reach a broader population and as you grow.
Right.
Number 13, offer self-help programs. So this is, again, just a suggestion and not critical, but from an employer's perspective, to become sophisticated at helping people help themselves. So self-help versions of these programs can be quite helpful as well. Interactive kits somebody receives to help them change their behavior on their own time in the privacy of their own homes. So Winston, I don't know if you have thoughts on self-help programs and how that ties into.
Yeah, so I think some of our programs now are sort of self-help. For example, the Vitality Challenge. But again, you want to motivate people to want to help themselves. And so I think again, providing a lot of good materials that that resonate with people, and maybe that are designed to reach a certain demographic. Because how you communicate with one population may be a little bit different how you communicate with another. So just having a lot of good information that really talks about potential outcomes that really will help improve their lives is a good thing. And going back again to Module 6, I think we talk about ways to articulate or communicate how a wellness program can allow someone to become more productive and create a lot of value specifically for that employee versus the employee thinking that the value is only being captured from their employer.
Right. And I think that, again, that goes to the, how to ignite the desired behavior change to get, the right health outcomes and, encourage healthier behaviors for your employees. So number 14, so offer group programs. So this is a place for group programs, says Powell, where while acknowledging the difficulty in getting people to come together regularly, lunch and learns can be offered once a month, or semi-annual health fairs, yoga classes, and walking clubs have also become popular. So again, I think that's, just talking about, the variety of different ways that employers are adopting wellness initiatives and, giving you ideas on how to leverage and utilize your services.
Guys, I'm gonna have to jump off. I hear my 3-year-old daughter coming right around the corner. But again, thank you for participating, and we have a lot of great information to share. I think these 20 steps that we're going through is very relevant to what to our academy. And so also we've added some new content which Krista will share with you. So I'm gonna have to jump off here, but I've been talking to a lot of folks, and we're making improvements by the minute to make your experience that much better. So Krista, I'll let you finish what you're doing, and you guys have a great evening. Okay, take care.
Thanks, Winston. So I'll just finish out with the last 5, and then just again update you on the competitive analysis and what the intent is there. And again, I welcome questions as we go through this. So the number 15 is online wellness challenges, and this is a relatively newer area of worksite wellness. Successful programs leverage the power of social networking and reach multiple employees across multiple worksite locations. So this, I would say is speaking to a larger employer group that has multiple sites, but again, just encouraging that gamification principle that employers are using to, motivate employees and get that behavior change that they're looking for adopting healthier lifestyle habits. Medical self-care. So this is the most cost-effective area for worksite wellness, but tends to be most overlooked. It involves teaching your employees to make better health care decisions, to know what symptoms require professional assistance versus which symptoms can be treated at home. So this may be out of the direct domain of what we are looking to do, but again, it's just encouraging knowing when to seek medical care versus kind of self, handle it yourself and take care, like if you have a cold, at what point do you go to the ER versus go home and take vitamin C. And again, an employer cares from that perspective because they're bearing the cost of high healthcare utilization. So number 17, so education in novel ways. So wellness messages are communicated in a variety of creative ways: playing cards, scroll pens, kits, pocket guides, picture frame magnets. The more you can package health information in novel ways, the more likely you are to get engagement. So that's, again, making it fun, and which I think we've talked about before, and figuring out ways to create challenges and use gaming principles to get the engagement at the participation rate that they would seek. Number 18, so provide appropriate program materials. So Powell suggests writing wellness materials at a 6th grade reading level, even if you have a group of PhDs working for you. Simpler is better in this time-deprived society. So again, keeping it simple and crisp and concise and not overloading people with information. I know that there's been a lot of research around, timing, tonality of messaging, and whether that's through text messaging, emails, or written communication. But we can look into that and provide you with some of the research around that. I know that there's, some that say if you're sending, text message reminders, or if you're engaging people through, SMS texting, it should be less than these number of characters, or same with emails, the frequency and timing that you're sending emails to get that engagement and interest. Number 19 is rewards, and I know we've talked a lot about the incentive and rewards. So rewards are more consistent with creating a health partnership culture. Incentives should fit with the workplace culture. So again, that's really a discussion to have with your employer partner on what their level of being able to offer incentives is, and how much they need to offer those incentives. So is it a very strong need to encourage participation and to get the desired outcomes, or is it just something that they might offer for one given program or challenge, I should say. And lastly, we have reporting. So successful workplace wellness programs determine the value of what they've done and determine what the data means in relation to the program's objectives. So I think we also have addressed this before, and that's really coming up with some way to measure the success of your program. I believe Jane's note had mentioned this as well, but I think having some sort of success metrics or way to measure whether your program's effective is really, really critical, again, because employers are spending money on this and they want to know if it's working, basically. So that wraps up this article. And again, I kind of put this in the preface of the competitive analysis because I thought that this offered a very good, broad view of how employers are looking at employer wellness and kind of the successful elements that they're employing. So as we build out the competitive analysis, we'll be using this in mind, but also, other principles that I know Winston has mapped out and mentioned. So the competitive analysis, I believe Wendy has posted on the CWA site. If you don't see it or don't have access to it, feel free to email us and we will get you the link and make sure that you have access to that. So I don't see any questions coming through, but I would love to open it up to discussion or any questions that the group may have. Okay. Alrighty. Well, if anyone has questions in follow-up to this webinar or just in general, please feel free to reach out, and we are excited to be working with you guys. And we'll send out, we have a really good webinar coming up next week with a guest speaker, so we'll send out information early next week on the agenda and topic for that. So I hope everyone has a great evening and a good weekend ahead, and I look forward to talking to you guys soon.